We're not going to be learning anything new here. I just want to give you some instructions for a little bit of practice. And this is for preparing solutions from a solid substance. Now, when we are making a solution from a solid substance, there's just really only 3 steps to it. The first step is to figure out how much of that solid substance you need to weigh out, like in grams, using a scale. After you measure it out, you basically put it in a beaker and then you prepare the amount of water that you need. You basically need enough water to add to your beaker or your container until it can fill up to a certain volume. So let's say that you need 250 milliliters of a certain concentration of a solution. Now, you actually don't add exactly 250 milliliters. You add water until it reaches 250 milliliters. So if you take a look at this last panel, letter C, you'll notice that the graduated cylinder still has some water remaining. You don't add all of the 250 milliliters of water because if you already have some volume from the solid, that means that you don't need exactly 250 milliliters of water. If you add 250 milliliters of water, it would actually overshoot the solution volume. How would you prepare the solution described below if you started with these solids? So let's look at the first one. 483 milliliters of 0.29 molars aluminum sulfate. Aluminum sulfate looks kind of like that. It's a solid, and it's kind of like a crystal. How would you make 483 milliliters of 0.29 molar aluminum sulfate though? Well, you would do some math and you would calculate how many grams. And this is where I want you to do some practice. But instead of me doing the same calculation over, I'm going to show you a tool that's pretty cool. It's called Wolfram Alpha. And Wolfram Alpha is a website, and I actually want you to use this to check your answers. So again, it's wolframalpha.com. And in this subject, or in this box, you just type in grams needed in 483 milliliters of 0.29 molar Al2SO3 3. Okay, and what Wolfram Alpha is going to do is it's going to process how much of everything is required in this solution, and it's a pretty cool artificial intelligence. But I'm gonna show you where you want to look. After you type it in, you scroll down and you find, let's see, solute properties. Okay, solute properties per 483 milliliters. You're going to notice it has mass right there, and it tells you exactly how many grams was required in that solution. It's 3.78 grams. Okay, so 3.78 grams. Now, to describe how you prepare the solution, I would say something like this. I will need to weigh out 3.78 grams of aluminum sulfate and put it in a container. Then I would add water until the total solution volume reaches exactly 483 milliliters. Then I would stir it. You can do the same thing for the other solution on the right that's in kind of a green or turquoise color. What would you do to prepare 800 milliliters of 0.83 molar copper 1 oxide? Well, to prepare this solution, you would do the calculation, how many grams you need with the molarity equation. Molarity equals moles over liters. But I'm going to use Wolfram Alpha again, just so that I don't have to bore you with the calculation. So for Wolfram Alpha, type in grams needed for 800 milliliters of 0.83 molar copper 1 oxide. Okay, now it's going to do its processing because it's a computer. And once it's done processing, again, you would look under where it says solute properties. This is per 800 milliliters. Now you see right here, apparently we need 52.8 grams. Now, if you did this calculation, you would be able to check your work right here. Okay, it's that simple. So if I were to be describing it in a phrase, I would say I will need to weigh out 52.8 grams of copper 1 oxide and put it in a container. Then I'll add water to the container until there's exactly 800 milliliters of solution. And then I would stir it. That's how you prepare these solutions. Now you can try this on your own. I have some additional solutions that you might want to figure out. And basically you want to figure out how many grams you need. Do this on scratch paper, and then you can check your work on Wolfram Alpha. I'm not going to have you turn anything in for this practice. It's just purely for practice. And then if you're able to calculate it, and if you're able to check your work on Wolfram Alpha, that's excellent.